from a water-damaged basement in Prince George's County, Maryland. It's Sunday night, and that means we're going to play some songs, and I think we're going to start calling this Sunday Songs. And I hope that I haven't offended anyone's intellectual property with that. I went so vague that I don't think you can sue me for that. We'll see. We'll find out in the coming days. But it's Sunday night. I hope your week was good. I hope you're looking forward to another great week this week, considering the circumstances. And yeah, I'm going to play you some tunes tonight, so let's do it. Riding on that cutting horse, don't you stand so tall. Sleeves rolled up and your shoulders back, sharp as a miter saw. Children come from far and wide and spill out in the street to call your name and to watch you ride, to touch the boots on your feet. If you're in it for the windfall, don't be surprised when your will to fight wavers and eventually dies. But if you're in it for the long haul, if you're in it to survive, there's not a trench you can't be found. There's not a drought could drag you down. I could see it in the whites of your eyes. If you're in it to survive. Riding down that royal road, silver in your beard. The years came fast and they took their toll. Friends just disappeared. Younger riders pass you by in all their silent style. You see that brightness in their eye. You hang your head and smile. If you're in it for the windfalls, don't be surprised when your will to fight wavers and eventually dies. But if you're in it for the long haul, if you're in it to survive, there's not a trench you can't be found. There's not a drought could drag you down. I can see it in the whites of your eyes. If you're in it to survive. Thank you. Thanks very much. I'm trying to open the shows with my up-tempo numbers, but I only have like 3 up-tempo songs, so very soon we're going to be screwed for these shows. We're going to have to start it with some real downers. Here's a downer. It's a good downer. I think it's a good downer, but it's a downer nonetheless. Because I think what everyone really needs right now in America 2020 is a downer right now. We really need to, that's what artists are supposed to do, right? To kind of balance the psychic energy and the spiritual energy of a population. And that's what we need more of right now, is just downers. So here you go. I will find you at the exit of my highway. I will find you at the bottom of my glass. No drink is strong enough. No drink is strong enough. No drink is strong enough to still my shaking hand. On a highway west of Davenport and Kansas, in the moonlight of a broken red roof inn, no night is dark enough to tell you where I've been. And I will find you in the arms of yet another. I will find you in her medicated eyes. No God is cruel enough. No God is cruel enough. No God is cruel enough to pay me back in kind. And I will find you painting crosses in the courtyard. I will find you walking backwards with a child. No fall is high enough. No fall is high enough. No fall is high enough. Thank you. Thanks very much. That's called Exit. It's the first song off my last record. Well, right on. Yeah, we brought the downer with that one, man. That's all right. Downer music makes me feel better. I'm going to play a song here. I'd like you to, after this tune here, throw over in the chat where you guys are watching from tonight. I always love checking it out. For those of you who this is your first time watching the stream, our general demographics of people watching the show is, for some reason, about 80% of the viewership is from St. Augustine, Florida, from what I can tell in the chats so far. Maybe that's some sort of, maybe we're not sampling it correctly, and St. Augustine is being oversampled. But from what I can tell, I think that's what it is. So we're going to go for advertisers who need to advertise in St. Augustine. So yeah, let us know in the chat where you're watching it from tonight. And after this song, we'll see. Well, I wish that I could come to you disguised as someone else. Well, I wish that I could come to you disguised as someone else. Help you lift your luggage from the platform to the train. Ask you for directions that I don't need explained. You would never think to ask my name. Let's not put it lightly, I put us both through hell. So I wish that I could come to you
disguised as someone else. And I wish that I could work for you with someone else's hands. Well, I wish that I could work for you with someone else's hands. Be behind the counter of a bookstore that you're in. Charge you $7 for a crossword and a pen. You would leave and not look back again. Even hardened criminals, they get a second chance. Well, I wish that I could work for you with someone else's hands. Well, I wish that I could come to you, could run to you, could sing to you, a stranger in your neighborhood who doesn't mean a thing to you, singing a long forgotten song. On and on and on. Let's not put it lightly, I put us both through hell. Well, I wish that I could come to you disguised as someone else. Well, I wish that I could come to you disguised as someone else.
Thanks. All right, let's see where you guys are at. All right. Boom. Allison's in Victoria, British Columbia. Oh, wait, I think... Oh, listen. You know I've been touring for a long time if I know how to pronounce this name. Hold on, where's that at? Got Seattle, Akron. My man, Peter Church, Dover, Vermont, just north of St. Augustine, exactly. You guys are doing these so fast, I'm having a hard time keeping up here. Here we go. New Zealand in the house. My former home of Austin, Texas. See, I told you, St. Augustine skews heavy, man. I'm not messing around, you guys. This woman's in Cheverly, Maryland. Or, no, Carl, that's a man. Carl says he's in Cheverly. That's in Prince George's County, Maryland. Carl, do you have a water damaged basement? Especially if you live in Cheverly, you most definitely have a water damaged basement. York Springs? Nice, man. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for checking in. I'm really glad that you're here. I love seeing everybody. Hey, Cody, what's up? Back and forth, Illinois. Chicago farmer in the house. All right. Excellent. So good to see everybody. Well, let's play another tune. This one's off my first album. This one's off an album called Messenger, or Nation Heat. Beneath the trees of the Casbah, beneath the roots of those trees, on the casket floor,
on the casket floor. The bottom of me feels so complete. In around my childhood museums, there stand Chinese guards. One of them has a bell, one of them has a bell that he rings when I come too close or leave too far. You might say that it's reckless, you might say that it's wild, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. Now there's splinters in my fingers, and there's Portland cement in my lungs. I got a hammer and a cough, I got a hammer and a cough, and all of my friends speaking foreign tongues. There's an ugliness grown up inside me. From where it has come, I don't know. I left my sweetness beside that girl like a bottle on the go. They might find my body at the bottom of the pile, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. Such plans they have, such gods they have, deep in this nation heat. We've been outdone again, we've been outdone again. And all of my friends, they walk on their feet. And the Congress of jackals will put a tax on my smile, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. I might move to Las Vegas, live there for a while, 'cause I'd rather be nobody's, nobody. Yes, I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. Oh man, thank you. I'm busting out the drop D on you tonight. It must mean that I care. It must mean that I'm really, that tonight specifically I'm very invested, that I bothered to drop the D. And now we'll put it back up into standard tuning. You can't do that all night, man. You can't burn the midnight oil, the old dropping of the D all night long. Got to bring it back to the standard every now and then. Here's the eponymous song off of Messenger. Oh, she's a messenger with body, bold, and bare. You've always been a gentleman, but tonight you can't help but stare. And your senses have been soaked. It must be more than smoke floating on the air. Oh, she's a messenger. If she knows, she doesn't care. Oh, she's a messenger, and slowly from within, her message has been amplified and written on your skin. And despite what you maintain, she drives you like a train. Here she comes again. Oh, she's a messenger. Where you going? Where you been? In all the amber lantern lights preside upon her path tonight. The stars have long decided where she'll go. There is no chance to grasp or guide the absent rains, the terrible tide. The stars have long decided where she'll go. Oh, she's a get you in the morning. She's a long season. Oh, she's a messenger tonight. You drove your truck to Michigan, but you couldn't beat the rain. You registered a motel, but you didn't use your name. And the audience applauds on the TV down the hall. You wonder what they're saying. Oh, she's a messenger who sings a sad refrain. Oh, she's a get you in the morning. She's a long season. Oh, she's a messenger tonight. Oh, she's a get you in the morning. She's a long season. Oh, she's a messenger tonight. Thank you. Now I'm thinking that one's kind of up tempo. I should have saved that for like a start of a show. I'm really kind of blowing it here, man. Let me play a tune of mine. I wrote this song on an instrument that I never tour with, and the reason I never tour with it is, mainly because I'm lazy. But this is called a tenor guitar. A tenor guitar has 4 strings on it, and they're tuned to fifths, the same way that a violin would be. So it's like the strings of a violin are tuned to fifths too. But then I had this guy down in Austin, this luthier at South Austin Music, named Ben. I don't know his last name because he left shortly after he did this, but Ben did this, and I had him double all the strings with either an octave or a double. So it kind of has like a 12-string sound now. And so I wrote a song on this one called The Measure that I usually play on guitar, but I figured since I'm in my water-damaged basement with my water-damaged tenor guitar, why don't I do the real thing? So let's give The Measure a try on the instrument that it was written on. Every inch of anguish laid out side by side cannot make a full yard out in the measure of our lives. Every corner sorrow weighed upon the beams rises when the far side is freighted by our dreams. Well, the night is rich as we stop to look around. Yes, I believe it is as we pause to hear the sound. All we lost is nothing to what we found. All we lost is nothing to what we found. Every dying ember, every setting sun cannot cast a shadow on the race we have run. Every paper dollar counted over twice cannot buy our gladness, cannot pay our price. Well, the night is rich as we stop to look around. Yes, I believe it is as we pause to hear the sound. All we lost is nothing to what we found. All we lost is nothing to what we found. Well, the night is rich as we stop to look around. Yes, I believe it is as we pause to hear the sound. All we lost is nothing to what we found. All we lost is nothing to what we found. Thanks, and there you have it, the debut, the live debut of my tenor guitar. I want to play a few covers for you guys of a dude, maybe you've heard of him, named Hank Williams. Hank Williams, he put out this record mid-career, and I just want to say right now that I did not go on the internet and verify anything about this story that I'm about to say, so it's probably apocryphal, it's probably wrong. Listen, I'm the same guy that tried to have a show called The Song Show for a couple weeks, and all I would have had to have done is just Google that, and I didn't do it. So if you want veracity out of the stories I'm telling, I mean, that's, you know, it's just definitely not going to happen. But my understanding is he wrote this gospel record called I Saw the Light. He wrote it for his mom. His mom was very, his mom was a follower of Christ, and she didn't like that he was playing this secular music. So Hank wrote this album called I Saw the Light, and I want to play you a couple songs off there. I'll play you the title track and one more. It's a really great album. If you've never heard Hank Williams' I Saw the Light, go listen to it. It really still holds up to today. This certainly won't be the last time that I play Hank Williams songs on this show. But this is a cool song. I wandered so aimless, life filled with sin. I wouldn't let my dear Savior in. Then Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. kept for my own. Then like a blind man that God gave back his sight, praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I was a fool to wander and stray. Straight is the gate and narrow the way. Now I have traded the wrong for the right. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light, I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.
And here's another one off that same one. Just listen to how simple this song is.
People steal, they cheat and lie for wealth and what it will buy. Don't they know on the judgment day, gold and silver will melt away? I'd rather be in a deep dark grave, knowing my poor soul is safe, than to live in this world in a house of gold and deny my God and refuse my soul. What good is gold and silver too, if your heart's not pure and true? Sinner, hear me when I say, fall down on your knees and pray. But I'd rather be in a deep dark grave, knowing my poor soul's saved, than to live in this world in a house of gold and deny my God and refuse my soul.
That's House of Gold by Hank Williams, and the one before that was I Saw the Light. You should check it out on Spotify. Everything's on Spotify, obviously, and just put that in your Spotify. Listen to the whole thing. It's a really cool album, and especially if you're an aspiring songwriter, that's mandatory stuff right there, man. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. If you've been watching the last couple of weeks, we've been having guests on to sing songs. And all those guests are excellent musicians and songwriters, but you probably noticed we couldn't really figure out the technical end of things too well. So I decided to put that on pause for a while until I can get a more robust situation. But what I do have for you, I thought we could excerpt some highlights from this podcast that I do every Friday. I do a podcast called The Working Songwriter, where I interview a songwriter that I love and admire, or I love and admire their work. And we've done a lot of episodes, and each episode is an hour long, and some people have dropped some pretty cool anecdotes. some pretty cool wisdom, some pretty good tips for songwriting. So here's what we're going to try now. I'm going to try to play you a highlight from this and see how you like it. I'm just trying to figure out what Sunday Songs is going to be, you guys. So let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat, or send me an email, whatever. I'm an easy guy to get a hold of. So here, we're going to try a highlight from the working songwriter. This is a Texas legend that we had on a few weeks ago named Ray Wiley Hubbard. And he tells a really cool story about the way that he wrote his first hit song in Texas. So let's try that. You know, Texas in the 1970s doesn't exactly strike me as the same cultural milieu as, you know, San Francisco in the Summer of Love. I'd have to imagine it was a bit more buttoned up, a bit more conservative. What was it like to be playing, you know, kind of counterculture music in Texas at that time?
Well, it was, you know, it's kind of how I wrote Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mother, because it was kind of a long-haired answer to, you know, Fight Inside of Me and Okie from Muskogee, because, well, all of America was going through a very turbulent time back then with the Vietnam War, and, of course, civil rights and women's lib and counterculture and all that. So it was a turbulent time, and especially, you know, if you had long hair, if you drove through West Texas, you'd put your hair up under a ball cap to get through there, because it was intense. And so there was this, you know, underground scene of, you know, very conscious people who actually had a conscience doing music at that time. But it was a very strange scene at that time.
And then you kind of rose out of that scene to more national prominence when Jerry Jeff Walker took that song that you just mentioned, Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mother. How did you meet Jerry Jeff, and how did he find out about that song? How did it get recorded?
Oh, well, up in Red River, we had a little folk club up there, and it was a stopping off point for all the musicians from Austin going up to Colorado, and all the Colorado musicians going back, you know. And so we had the little club, and so Jerry Jeff came through, and, you know, and just passed through, and it was really Jerry Jeff came into town, and everybody just went crazy, like, Jerry Jeff, he wrote Mr. Bojangle, he's a big star, man, this is going to be so good for our town of Red River, you know. And then after about 2 or 3 days, people would come up and they'd go, when's your friend going to leave? You know, and but Jerry was pretty wild back in those days. But we met and you know, just kind of hit it off, and then he got Redneck Mother. Is, you know, I wrote the song. There was you know, we in Red River there was like kind of a safe hippie bar, musician bar down at the end of town, and there was no, you know, pretty hardcore, serious cowboy redneck bar. And we had a, you know, jam session one night, and it's my turn to go get the beer. So I said, well, how bad could it be? So I walked in the D bar, and I found out, and, you know, some kind of old woman started hassling me about my hair, and I got out with the beer and came back, and I said, guys, I almost got beat up getting this beer. And I think B.W. Stevenson said, well, did you get the beer? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, here, I sang a song. So we just made up Redneck Mother then. And it was just kind of a, you know, goofy thing we'd sing. And then, but a guy named Bob Livingston was at the Hootenanny that night, and he left, went to L.A., played bass with Michael Murphy, and came to Austin, started playing bass with Jerry Jeff. And I think one night at the Broken Spoke Saloon, Jerry broke a string, and, you know, they didn't have roadies back in those days. They just, you know, and so Jerry said, Bob, sing a song. So Bob sang Redneck Mother, and all these old cowboys went, what the hell is that? But they started singing along. So then Jerry went to Lukenbach going to make the Viva Talingua album. And so Livingston called me up and he said, Jerry wants to cut Redneck Mother. And I said, why? Because it was just a throwaway, you know. And so he said, we need a second verse. I made up the second verse on the phone right at that time. And Jerry cut it. And up to that point, I'd been Ray Hubbard. But on the record, Bob Livingston goes, this song is by Ray Wiley Hubbard. So I got a middle name like everybody else in Texas at that time, Willis Allen Ramsey and, you know, Jerry Jeff Walker and all these three-name guys. So that's how that kind of happened. It was nothing planned at all.
Dig it. Yeah, so that's from the Working Songwriter Podcast. Every Friday, we put up a new chat with a songwriter that I love. Okay, well, before this next segment, I'm going to let you know, throw your questions and your comments over in the chat because after this, we're going to do requests and Q&A. So go ahead and get that started. And right now, it's time for America's favorite time to cry. Okay, our poem this week is from, you could have guessed it, Steve Scafidi. You're going to see a lot of Steve Scafidi poems, the cabinet maker from West Virginia. You're going to see a lot of his poems on this program, so I hope you dig them. This is a poem of his called In the Parking Lot of the Barber Shop. I come from a long line of jackass half-wits, stumbling toward America forever, until one fell into the broad cleavage of the custom officer's bride on Ellis Island in the summertime. It was the atomic age until we spoke in anything but a broken way, our hands waving at the world. I come from a long line of angry chimney sweeps and drunken barbers, men with tongues as smooth as mirrors and women wild as hope, as one thing slowly led to another, our traditional cursings of God leading to a begging for mercy. I come from a long line of the dead now collected in one place, the hold of a ship lost at sea in a storm that makes me dizzy. My skull aches, and I know they are in there. If someone punched me in the nose, they would fall out of their chairs. I come from a long line of dabblers, cobblers, and hunchbacks, delusional mooks and fools. I come from the swirling lights of the barber shop wanting to cry right there in the parking lot, big open-faced crying in the parking lot. Oh, children, look at us. No matter what, our hair sticks up. And there was never any reason for love. You can wonder why you were born and who you are, and I'll tell you this. You come from the parking lot and the factory, and the days so hot the air shimmers, and nights as cool as the cotton mouth of a snake. We come from nothing one day, a fish, a protozoan, a lightning strike suddenly in the dead calm of a lake. The jagged line of brightness time is, started everything to move toward the drawing of a breath. And the drawing of your mother someone did years ago, and which we see every day in the hall, still shines. We come from sleep every morning and see it as true. We carved toothpicks from pine trees for the captains of industry. We killed thousands. We died. We mumblers and mouth breathers, humdiggers and breeders. We'll be fine. Thank God for Steve Scafidi poems. Okay, well, let's see what you guys want to hear or what you want to ask. Let's see. How much of your stage banter and jokes is improvised versus planned ahead? I usually write most of it ahead of time, and then I try to perfect it over the course of a tour, which is always very uncomfortable when someone, not very often, but every once in a while, people will come from one show and then drive to the next if the next show is kind of close. But it's hard to come up with things that are funny in the same way every night. And so, I just write them out. I write them out like I imagine a stand-up comic would. The nice thing about songs is you can play them over and over and over again and people want to hear it. But jokes, people just want to hear a joke one time. Unless it's a Dave Chappelle joke, in which case I could hear it a million times. Let's see. Let's see. Is there a songwriter that you really admire that you haven't been able to meet yet? Oh yeah, man. I mean, I haven't even been able to meet a ton of my heroes. In fact, suffice it to say, I haven't met most of my heroes. I was really sad. I always felt like I'd get to meet John Prine one day because, I don't know, and I've told this story before, but I came really close to signing with his record label early on, and I had all these dealings with his manager, this classic guy named Albanetta. And so I always felt like, well, I was only 1 degree of separation from him once, and one day I'll probably meet him at a festival or something, this, that, or the other. Never got to meet him, never got to shake his hand, but I always felt like I knew him, because of the music. And I feel the same way about songwriters that I admire. If I really admire their work, I feel like I do know them. It's a pretty intimate medium. Now that being said, I'd love to meet Gillian Welch or Tom Waits anytime. Give me a ring, guys, anytime you feel like it. Let's see. Do I turn off the dehumidifier in the sun? What kind of animal do you think I am, man? We got a large diaphragm condenser mics down here, John. What was my last live gig? You know what it was? And this is pretty cool. My last gig was at the 930 Club in DC. So if you're going to have a last gig, that's one to do it at. The 930 Club, if you're not from DC and if you're not familiar with it, the 930 Club would be on anyone's short list who tours and plays music as one of the best venues in the country. A lot of people would say it's the best. For me, it's a coin flip between 930 Club and First Avenue in Minneapolis. I live right outside of DC, so I probably have to go with 930. So, yeah, we played, I want to say March 7th or 8th. And then there was one more show the next day, and then they closed down for coronavirus. So as far as I know, we were the second last show there. Yeah. Okay, let's do a request. Well, I'll take that. Thanks, Danny. And I'll take that as a request. I'll play that song for you guys. This is a song called I Don't Work in a Bank. I wrote this song as a throwaway, and now it's like in one of my most listened to songs. It's like made it into like the top 5 or 10 on Spotify. So who would have guessed it, man? I was just messing around when I wrote this, but who would have guessed it?
I don't work in a bank, they're not my beans to count. If you want proof when I go broke, no one will bail me out. Don't ask me where I'm going, don't ask how much I drank. If you want answers, that's just fine, but I don't work in a bank. Yeah, well, I don't work in a bank, and you knew that when we met. So put that dress back on the rack and live with your regret. You don't get to taste the top shelf when your bottom line is blank. So it's private stock in public school. I don't work in a bank. Oh, well, I don't work in a bank. That was fine when I was a kid. But the awful truth I've learned, things would be better if I did. Yeah, I ended up with short change and just myself to thank. Cause the world's a giant spinning coin and I don't work in a bank. Boom. That one was for Danny. Let's do some more requests. We always love it when you hit the tip jar here for this part of the show, the requests. Man. You know, John, I'm ashamed to say I don't know a Shake Russell cover off the top of my head, and that's embarrassing because I lived in Texas for a while. And when I lived down there, I knew a lot of songwriters looked up to him as their favorite songwriter. So I got to learn a Shake Russell too. Maybe I'll do that for next week. Let's see. I've already played The Flood in Color a couple weeks ago. Okay, I'll do, yeah, Gary, you got it, man. I'll do Nation of Heat for you, man. I'm getting mixed results in the chat here as to whether there's enough volume or not. I hope you're getting enough. From the prison and beside the Great Lake, below the rooftops and above the highway, the spirits pay rent on the basement pictures, just draw pictures of the things that they want. I cook my dinner on the blacktop street. I come from the nation of heat. Outside the train station there's a bold painted sign. It says, try to be patient, don't forget to choose sides. We got the loudest explosions you ever heard. We got $2 soldiers and $10 words. If I didn't own boots, I wouldn't need feet. I come from the nation of heat. So swift and so vicious are the carnival rides. And the carnival bark will hear your name for a bribe. We got billboards full of love and Japanese cars. It ain't rare to hear the streetlights call themselves stars. The more that I learn, the more that I cheat. I come from the nation of heat. I've seen skeleton mothers and hungry folks across the street from the kitchens that cook dinner the most. Sometimes you hear whispers by the dark of the moon. Yet we promised too much and gave it too soon. Even our coughs and our fevers can beat. I come from the nation of heat. Blackened borders with smiles, our immigrant sons. We measure loneliness in miles and misery in tons. There's a straw-headed man rowing away from the shore. He says it's a shame they don't let you have slaves anymore. I'm the ugliest man that you'll ever meet. I come from the nation of heat.
Thank you. Here, we'll take a few more questions and then we'll take one more request here. You got it, man. You got it. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the real graphy. I'm going to play Not So Sure for the real graphy. Thanks for stopping by the song show. No, this isn't the song show anymore. Wait. Thanks for stopping by Sunday Songs. Hope that doesn't get me sued. Thanks for stopping by Sunday Songs. I'll be here next week. We'll do it again. We'll play a few covers. We'll play your requests. We'll do a Q&A again. I really enjoy this on Sunday nights. Thanks for being here. I'll leave you with this. Thanks for telling a friend about the show. Tell people to stop on by on Sunday nights. Oh, you know, what else are they going to do? The only other thing people are doing on Sunday nights these days are boozing and doing like a Zoom high school reunion with people that they don't want to talk to anyway. So just cancel the Zoom call and come hang out with us on Sunday nights. I love playing for you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll leave you with this one.
There was a time when I heard you calling out my name. But these days, I'm not so sure. When the room went dark and your voice was gone, I heard you all the same. But these days, I'm not so sure. I knew I could remember your bedroom and your touch. But these days, I'm not so sure. Definitely was a word I used far too much. 'Cause these days, I'm not so sure. I bought expensive cigarettes, I wrote John Steinbeck's books, I undressed someone's daughter, then complained about her looks. Stealing was so easy then, I wish that it still were. Now as I pick my own pocket, I know that these days I'm not so sure. The church was my kitchen, the world was my church, but these days I'm not so sure. To choirs I would listen, through briars I would search, but these days I'm not so sure. I sacrificed my sister, I prayed my own soul to keep. I told my dying father that a man should never weep. Breathing was so easy then, I wish that it still were. Now as the breeze just makes me colder, I know that these days I'm not so sure. Drank my wine for breakfast, whoa. Every morning I was born in the black electric winter. My back was always warm. Sleeping was so easy then, I wish that it still were. Down in my sleepless bedroom, I know that these days not so sure.
Thanks for being here for Sunday Songs. I love playing with you, playing for you, and I will see you next week here. Thanks for telling a friend, and thanks for hitting our tip jar if you can. I'll see you next week. Peace.